Video. Uh, wasn't able to get my yeah at this time. Hold on, y'all. Hold on. Y'all, come on in. Yeah, we got shootings going on, but they don't want to tell you for the anti-gunners out there why in a place like Texas there was no good guy with a gun outside the police. Right? Why did this happen? All right, and why didn't any law-abiding citizen uh, stop this before the police? Well, they was there on the scene, thank God, because But yeah, it's a sad, tragic situation going in this country right now. There's a lot going on in Texas. So yeah, yeah. So there's a lot going on in Texas right now, from El Paso to Fourth Ward. You got the immigrants, illegal immigrants coming in and storming in. Then we have, uh, yeah, what we have right now. I think it's two places that's a state of emergency. Is New York and Texas. I think it's a place, particularly in New York, and I think it's El Paso, Texas. I got word through someone else live the news that they're sending troops. I think 1,500 or 1,500 National Guard troops right now. Excuse me if I'm looking back and forth doing a certain part of the day, people busy, etc., etc. So, um, yeah, yeah. Okay. So what they're not telling you is that this was a gun-free zone, right? If y'all can hear the noise of it. This was a gun-free zone that happened. So rest in peace of those whose life was taken during the Census Act, like with others. But something told me that I'm pretty sure that this happened not only in Texas, but not only in a mall, but also this particular mall was probably most likely a gun-free zone. Okay, just like most of the time when these mass shootings happen, where there's a lot of casualties, it's usually in a gun-free zone. But I said for that to happen in a place like Texas, right? And for okay, welcome live chat. Yeah, I'm trying to open the. If y'all can see, I don't know why my live chat. Okay, okay, that's just telling me welcome to. Okay, but I don't know why ones from the left think that everybody who sees this news, because it is like, oh, it's a lot happening. And it's happening in the mall because, in schools, people already know it's a gun free zone. People mention that before. You have states like where I'm at in Florida and other places that are saying, hey, we need to harden the schools, right? We need to bring more security. But ones on the left are not bringing no solutions, right? Regarding that. They're not bringing any solutions. So, because you're not going to disarm everybody, you're just not. I don't care how much people will find. I just saw a video in Britain where there was a woman and her daughter being shot at by two guys with a shotgun. I think one of the guys that stole the shotgun from somewhere, because I think that's about like the only gun you could have. Even then, it's hard to even obtain that in Britain. So, I mean, they could take the gun, mass produce it, do a lot of stuff with it, right? So, with that being said, hold on, y'all. Okay, hold on. Okay, I returned. Yeah. Okay, excuse me about that. Uh, yeah. Like I said, I like to try to do my lives earlier in the day. But primarily, these happen. They're not bringing any solutions. So we already know with the schools, you can't really have. They're trying to change that, where they're trying to bring armed security or even arm the teachers. I think in Texas they're trying to arm teachers. I think already have a bill where the teachers get like $25,000 more if they're armed, and people they would just see that and be like, oh, they're just trying to arm the teachers and anybody like they have to go through training in order to be an armed teacher there. So even though I'm kind of still myself a little iffy about that, but I definitely am for having at least armed security. That that's the primary focus is for them just to be security that walk the halls. Sometimes they might check in the rooms every now and then, but basically just walk the halls and outside. So if something does happen, they're able to defend the school. But just walk around, have armed security. They're probably not seen like that. They could probably just blend in as regular staff, but they are trained. Like that's their thing to do. And underneath their clothes, they might have some kind of badge, some kind of clothing that says, "Hey, I am, that what I say, who I say I am when the police come." Or they just have like a thing going over their body over there. Anyway, so you can identify them. But anyway, so I'm more for that, yeah, because when you have situations like this happening, whether they're by design or not, it's telling that where we're at right now. But what you'll see with the Allen shooting, where 8 people were killed in 7 in Texas small shooting, and the gunman also dead. The police officer that was there on the scene took out the suspect, who witnesses said that he had, I think, a fake police vest and a gun, right? Okay, believe was acting alone. Okay, so 8 people were killed in a shooting at an outlet mall near Dallas, and 7 victims are being treated at trauma facilities. Officials said Saturday night the gunman authorities believe was acting alone. So, yeah, that was Air America Group or Premier. So authorities in Allen responded to the authorities shooting at Allen Premium Outlets, prompting shoppers and workers to hide. This is CNN. There was a search of a second gunman, according to a source, but the police now say they believe the shooter acted alone. Police said Allen officer killed the shooter. Video from above the scene showed hundreds of shoppers exiting the area, many holding their hands up. The aerial footage appeared to show at least 3 bodies covered by sheets outside the mall. Witnesses told CNN that they saw the gunman, who was dressed all in black and was wearing tactical gear. All right. Okay, it was beans in the back. Okay, it was good. The mass shooting in Allen is the latest and relentless series of gun violence across the nation that has brought terror to supermarkets, schools, hospitals, and other places typically considered safe because they're supposed to be typically gun-free zones, and primarily these type of malls. But it comes just days after gunmen became enraged during a visit to Atlanta medical facility, allegedly, and usually those medical facilities are known to be what? Gun-free. Never cease to amaze, never cease to apprise, or surprise, never cease to. It's the same song. Allegedly shooting dead at least one person with a handgun and injuring 4 others before he was caught hours later. So they would try to say, yeah, we need to get rid of the handgun and get rid of AR-15, where the deadliest shooting in America was done with a handgun. I believe it was Virginia Tech. Okay, it was with a handgun. Not what they'll call an assault rifle, but it's really AR means armor-like rifle. So for those who know, and most of these people who are supposed to be for gun control, most of them claim they know about guns. When they say stuff about we need background checks, they need to be mandatory. You can tell they never recently tried to purchase a firearm. They haven't probably tried to purchase a firearm in the last, at least 3, 4, 5 years, right? Like you said, well, when was the last time you tried to have you ever purchased a firearm, and when was the last time that you tried? Like, was it like in the 1980s? Was it like this? Because if you're talking about, any time between, I guess the time I became an adult or whatever. I mean, yeah, you. So this attack is one of the least of 199 mass shootings this year in the U.S., with 4 or more people shot, excluding gunmen, excluding a gunman, according to the Gun Violence Archive. Okay, so this is, and you see videos of Texas, Texas being under fire. We have, but they'll say, the Texas gun law on fire because Texas, like Florida, where I'm at, instead of Florida, along with other more red states, have passed constitutional carry, and Texas, I think, opened carry along with it, and such armed teachers. So they're trying their best to say, well, this is due to Texas lacks gun laws or lack thereof, right? And this is far from the truth for those who know, because as they mentioned, schools, medical facilities, such and such places that are malls, places that are usually considered safe, where these are happening, because that's where the enemy is going to attack, where you think you're safe, where nobody is thinking about, I need to have a gun. As a matter of fact, because you have a sign that says no gun, that these places are safe, and that's not the case, right? So anyway, we'll get into the meat of it. Allen Premium Outlets. This is where this happened in Texas, right? And Allen, where I think a little bit outside of the Dallas. So this is the mall outlet. So then I found out, well, who owns Allen Premium Outlets? And they're owned by Simon Property. And Simon Property are known, okay. I said, okay, it's Simon Property Group, which is, I read, is the largest, you could say, when it comes to mall, a shopping center group in the country. In the country, they are the biggest. They're all over the world, but the United States is the largest. And I said, but they're probably probably anti-gun. They probably have no gun or no weapons policy. Then I looked it up. I found the owner, I think his name is David Simon. Found a name, and then I found this article from, I think, 2022. It was showed up on the other one, but I think this happened in 2022. But anyway, where a good Samaritan, the good guy with a gun, actually did that. And they're based out of, I think, Indianapolis, if I have it right, Simon Group, Simon Property, and that's who owns Allen Premium, okay? And along the other ones under them, right? Malls under them. So this happened in Green Park Mall. But anyway, armed bystander shot and killed the Greenwood Mall shooting suspect. Did he break the law? Did he break the law, right? Can y'all see that? Did he break the law? So now they question this good guy with a gun in a mall. Did he break the law? A 22-year-old, now I don't think that's him. I think that's somebody else. Anyway, a 22-year-old armed bystander is being praised as a hero for using a gun he brought inside the Greenwood Park Mall. In spite of a policy prohibiting weapons at the site, to kill a mass shooter who opened fire on shoppers at the mall's food court Sunday. The shooting occurred around 6 p.m. the mall's closing time. A gunman carrying a long rifle and several magazines of ammunition shot and killed 3 people and wounded 2 others, police said. The real hero of the day is the citizen that was lawfully carrying a firearm. That food court was able to stop, and that food court was able to stop the shooter almost as soon as he began. Greenwood Police Chief Jim Eisen said during the news briefing held at the shooting. All right, so the police chief held him as he, but the presence of the guns by both initial gunmen and the man who shot him has drawn attention to the mall's no weapons policy and raised questions on social media about concealed carry of businesses that prohibit guns. So just like with this shooting that happened, all right, where people shouldn't have to, this could have been avoided if these malls allowed people to carry. Because people, Texas, all these guns. No, there's still places like in Texas, like in Florida, there's still places that you cannot bring your firearm. If that private owned business says have a sign out there that says no weapons allowed or have a policy, you're not allowed to take your gun in there. You could face trouble if you bring the gun in. In some places federally, some places are, it's just a private business. You could face some issues. You could no longer get there. You could face some problems with that. All right, okay. So don't think that, oh yeah, so it's just guns everywhere, guns everywhere. No, it's still places here for those who familiar with these laws, for those who, for different reasons, had to look up these laws to find out whether you and I were breaking these laws. No better than that. It's not just, oh, every guns everywhere. Gun. It's not like that. There's no guns in schools. You can't bring a gun to school, right? So they still, well, we just got to get rid of guns. Then when there's a place that, well, why didn't the people come with the guns and stop the shoot? Because just like the school is it's a no gun. Okay, but the presence of the guns, both by the initial, all right, prohibit guns. All right. Trying to find. Okay, here we go. Okay, yeah, many more people would have died last night. This is to the Greenwood Marshal. Many people would have died last night if not for the responsible armed citizen who took action very quickly within the first 2 minutes of the shootings. ISIS said during a news conference on Tuesday. When asked if shoppers could legally carry guns inside of Simon malls for any reason, a spokeswoman for Greenwood Park Mall referred to owner Simon Property Group shopper code of conduct, which simply states no weapons. She did not elaborate. If customers ignore those policies or signs in some states, they are violating the law and can be charged with a crime. So in some states, you can be charged with a crime. Okay, I doubt maybe in Texas, but in other places where it's kind of more, I guess more of like a purple type state, you could probably face charges, right? Or definitely in the blue, more blue state. Some signs are simply stating, or depending on what the law, your local listings, check your local listings, they say USCCA. But sign you might see at a gas station, or a sign requiring mask. Okay, yeah, okay, those in the case. All right, excuse me. They are violating the law and can be charged with a crime. That's not the case in Indiana, not exactly. Indiana gun laws, and look at what changed a lot first. Greenwood Mall no weapons policies is akin. The Greenwood Park Mall no weapons policy is akin to a no shoes, no shirt, no service sign you might see at a gas station, or a sign requiring masks in order to shop, said Guy Riffle, an Indiana attorney and firearms instructor who is a prominent voice on the state's gun laws. Such signs are simply stating a business owner's policy. Attorney, no gun policy won't create a legal issue for armed bystander. If a customer does not adhere to the policy, a business owner can demand that the customer leaves. And if the customer ignores that demand, the customer is now trespassing, which is an Indiana crime. But if no one asked Dickens to leave, then he wasn't trespassing. So that the fact that Greenwood Mall had a no gun policy creates no legal issue whatsoever for this gentleman. Ripper said, and certainly has no effect whatsoever on his ability to use force to defend himself or to defend other people in the mall. He wasn't committing a crime unless they asked him to leave. It's disrespectful, she said, violating the mall's policy, but it's not unlawful. Whoa, okay. All right, so that's basically with that. You're getting so, but the thing is, you want people to respect, and when people see that, they might not know whether they're breaking the law or not. You know what I mean? They thinking, okay, well, I'm just breaking the store policy, but they don't know that maybe there could be some. And you never know when it comes to when it comes to these laws, you might think, well, I'm just breaking the store policy. They don't have nothing to do with the law, and for some reason, they will try to to put stuff on you, man. When you defend yourself, and please do everything right. even when you call the police, you're going to be looked at as a suspect. And depending on what you say, and it's best not to say anything, depending on what kind of lawyer fees you have, or if you have self-defense insurance, if you belong to groups that specialize in self-defense insurance, like USCCA and others. I think is other ones that I'm trying to remember. I think CCW Safe and there's other ones. But if you don't really have yourself covered, you could find yourself in some trouble. Then some, depending on their policy, might not defend you if you violate it on the other end. So you're basically taking a chance here anytime you use self-defense. Okay, so people just think, oh well, you could just shoot somebody, and it's not like that. If you are a legal, law-abiding, sane gun owner and you're trying to save people lives, you could face some stuff, okay? Or they could question you as you, because when they get there, they don't know who's the good guy, who's the bad guy. So they have to sort everything out. So for those how many minutes or hours, you could be treated as a bad guy, okay? So, but just make sure that you call them if you had to really immediate danger, imminent danger, threat to your life. Make sure that you call the police. But even then, don't say too much, all right? And just keep it very simple, and then take it from there. I'm a victim of crime. I had to defend myself. Whoa, don't try to. It's things that you could do. I'm not gonna get into that. I'll do a video about that later. But just saying on right here, man. There are this is basically it. That's what I want to show you. I don't want to make this video too long because I want to get out to more people. But where this happened in Allen, Premium Outlets. This shooting that happened in Texas was in a gun-free zone or no guns allowed property area. So basically, they only want the police to have guns. But customers and even employees, I even looked it up, are not supposed to have weapons. No weapons. So as firearms, definitely no firearms are included. So I think they even have where you can't even sell weapons. All right, so no weapons, no selling of weapons, employees and customers alike. So, like I said, you want people to respect your policy, right? So they can continue to shop there. Because, because they might not ask you to leave, but since they know that you have a gun, usually on the property, they can say, well, you probably can't come and shop here because that's the other part they're probably not, mentioning. You know what I mean? I don't put it past them. Anything they want, they could try to harm you in some kind of way, financially or criminally, to mess your life up after a self-defense situation. They will. Prosecutors, they will. But but this is why people probably didn't want to take their gun there, because they like, well, I don't want to be in no kind of violation, because when you talk about firearms and on certain properties, it can be, especially if they don't allow, it can be because most of it they might think subconsciously, oh man, I can't bring my firearm here. I'm at a post office. I'm at this place, so I don't want any kind of legal trouble. So when they see that no firearm sign at Allen Mall, at the mall, they probably thought, well, I'm going to probably be in some legal trouble. So just like the article I read to you earlier, where the guy, people thought he was going to be facing legal charges based on that. Yeah, that's what people probably thought. But dude was like, well, I don't care. I'm gonna have mine on mine. A lot of people are not, going to really be like that. Okay, they're going to be a law abiding, because they try to paint this image that, okay, people with guns, people don't want to respect anybody, and people probably kept their guns in their car. If they did have them, they probably they could. By the time they got to their car, the gun was up. Did what he did, right? So people try to just leave them at home. So people trying to be respectful. Okay. But just want to put it out there, man. That's the other part that they don't want to bring out. Like I say, it's a sad situation that's going on in this country for the families and people lives. Just something going on. There's something in the water, man. We know we live in the last days, the last times, but for this to happen consecutively, then you got, like I say, a lot of immigrants coming here at the border in Texas and New York. People don't know who these people are. Such a lot going on with that. Just look alive. So when that Passover state of emergency there for what's going on, they're not really talking about that, because just bringing a bunch of people here that can cause all these kind of chaos and situations on top of the situation that you got with people who are born and raised here, their mental health. I mean, then you're gonna want to strip people of their guns. It's like, but then you're letting all these people come over the border that you don't even know who they are. I don't have a problem with people, but you don't know who they are. You don't know what they're capable of. They're just here by the thousands, thousands upon thousands. And you want to try to disarm Americans. Some of those from the Democratic Party was trying to pass a bill not too long ago that if illegal immigrants was able to come over here and get a gun illegally, that you couldn't find out who they were. Like people, I think even the law enforcement and even at gun stores, basically just can't, find out who they are. Make it where you can't track who they were. Like this is stuff that they were trying to do. So like I say, James Speed ain't forgot about none of it. It's like I didn't forget about the story that happened in Indiana with the guy who did, Indianapolis, who did use his gun, right, in Greenwood Mall. And people was talking about the no weapons policy then in that mall, but just like in Texas, what happened in Texas, the mall in Texas and in Indiana, both are owned by Simon property, owned by Simon Group property. So they basically owned by the same, yeah. What about that? What about the no gun policy? But yeah, this it's sad. It's sad. It's sad on both levels. People who are getting killed and people who don't have a solution other than get rid of the gun, but they don't have any trying to get rid of malice in people's hearts, trying to find ways to protect, children, finding ways to protect the malls and shopping centers, disarming people because of what other people do, making it harder for other people to get access because of what other people do is not the answer. Um, that's yeah, that's not the answer, especially when it comes to transportation, housing, and when it comes to being able to defend yourself. When it comes to food, housing, transportation, and yeah, self-defense. Those basic needs and necessities that humans need to survive. You cannot restrict those things that help you in that because of what other people do, because of what few or even a good amount do. It's just like you mentioned about banning knives. And they hate comparison. Well, you can't compare drugs to guns. Never failed out of 4473. If you fill out a 4473 and you use marijuana or it's on the news because the same agency that governs guns also governs tobacco and alcohol and drugs, right? So they actually have that on the form that you cannot purchase if you are a user of marijuana and other drugs that's not on a federal level, that's not legal on a federal level. So they do go together. There's where you can't compare a knife to a gun. Yeah, and speaking of that, it just had a knife attack. I think in California, I think it was a town in California. I think it was like a college town. I think this guy had killed maybe 3 people, I think, in different parts of that town, if I have it right. I think in like one night. And you don't see or hear too much news coverage on that. Because like I said, it was with a knife. It wasn't with a scary assault rifle style gun. No, it was with a knife. It's like you had in Canada, let's ban guns. You had a mass stabbing in Canada. And when you bring these things to ones who claim, I just mean well, yes, I'm an anti-gunner, but I really want people to be safe. When you mention these mass knife attacks, how some of them basically are higher than even the numbers that we see with guns or just about. And they, the woman I was debating with on Facebook, all she could do was just laugh. That's it. Like I'm showing her the numbers of knife attacks that happened. That was one of the biggest mass killings in Canada was a stabbing. She could just laugh. I just basically copy and pasted the story, all she could do was laugh about it. That's just so you're laughing about people who were killed, were mass murdered. So it's like you're so anyway. So people have their cognitive dissonance. People on the left have their cognitive dissonance, hypocrisy, delusion, and you have people on the right that have their delusion too. Uh, yeah. So, but anyway, I just want to put it out there because I am trans attracted, but I am for LGBT, but I'm also for self protection. Right, one's been able to protect themselves and their family, and I'm also for parents' rights and rights. But anyway, I just want to put it out there, man. Y'all do what y'all want to do with it. But that's the other side of the story. That mall was a gun free zone. Keep saying it. I hope people watch this and keep saying it. That mall in Allen, Texas, in Dallas, was a gun free or no weapons policy mall. All right. Okay. So I showed you who owned it and their policies for their malls. Bingo. All right. That's all I want to put out. Y'all be good. James Speed. Y'all can find me on Facebook, YouTube, and I'm out. Y'all be good. Rest in peace to those lives who was lost.